You've waited a lifetime to look better and feel better, and now here's your chance. Fitness Friday on WNDB. Call 239-0033 and have your questions answered on health, fitness, and a better life. Fitness Friday is brought to you by Bodez by Tasso & Company, 1140 West Granada Boulevard in Ormond Beach. And now, here's your host, Tasso Kyriakis.
Welcome to Fitness Friday. Wow, an act to follow. I got to follow the Y today, huh?
Hey, come on now. I thought you were friends with those people.
I am. It's a very impressive thing they're doing. It's one of those kind of things you go like, boy, that's the gorilla in the room when it comes to competing. You wish you were in bed with them, sort of, kind of, right?
Sure.
All right, so let me cover some things. Let me do some business stuff here first. One of our co-sponsors is Dr. Fawn at Acupuncture and Beauty. And Dr. Fawn is having a seminar at DSC this week. It's going to be on November 4th from 2 to 3:30. And it's going to talk about acupuncture and all the ways it can be a positive thing in your life. So, Dr. Fawn is here every third week with us, always brings a nice testimony in with them. We ask a lot of the same questions so people get an idea that there is a consistency to the performance of acupuncture. And one of the things Dr. Fawn always asks is for you to be open-minded and trying new things. And so he would like you to attend this seminar that'll be at the DSC building. The seminar is on September the 4th, okay, and you can call 615-1203, and that way reserve your spot because there is some limited space. He is also going to have Dr. Price there, who I don't know if you remember Dr. Price, but Dr. Price is a neurosurgeon who's like in his late 80s, early 90s, is a world championship skier, water skier, he and his wife both. So he's going to talk about type 2 diabetes, neuropathy, smoking cessation, menopause, and even cancer support treatment, knee pain. I've been going to Dr. Fawn because somebody whose name, whose initials are Terry Savaston, got me involved in the Dancing with the Stars, and I've because of all the stuff I've been doing.
I did not twist your arm at all.
Yeah, you didn't. You just sort of put me in that
twisted his ankle, I think.
Put me in that embarrassing situation with those girls, and then what do you say to good-looking girls? No, Did you not ever see Zorba the Greek? Zorba the Greek. Did you ever saw that? Huh?
Obviously not.
Okay, obviously not. Second thing is that later in the show we're going to have an interview with Terry Lemeron, who is the founder of Terry's Naturally, and he is going to be here on November the 7th, and he is going to be doing a program at the Love Whole Foods in Ormond Beach, and we'll be talking to him. We're going to have him on for about 30 minutes and speak with him about that.
Has to be a good man with a name like that.
Lemeron?
Terry.
Yeah, Gail's a great guy.
Terry?
Yeah. So you're saying he has two great names, Lemeron for Gail Lemeron, who's a great leader in our community, and Terry for Terry?
Yeah. So
he's gonna broadcast football things and build lots of nice things.
Terry Naturally.
Terry Naturally. There you go. So Terry, you've got a busy night tonight. It's actually a pretty busy weekend this week. People always complain, there's nothing to do in Daytona. There's a lot of stuff to do.
There's a lot of stuff to do. And if you don't wear yourself out by Sunday afternoon, you could come down to the drive-in church for the crop walk to help the hunger program.
So why'd you go? Oh, crop walk for hunger. So build the crop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do they bring like stuff to give you for the food bank or anything like that?
I think a percentage of it goes to locally to the Halifax Urban Ministries, but also this is a national crop walk. This happens across the country this weekend. Crop walks happening everywhere to help feed the homeless. So a good way to support your local community and help out the hunger issues with the homeless here in the local community. Crop walk Sunday afternoon at Driving Christian Church. What's nice about this, all these other walks, if you notice, you're walking on pavement and sidewalk. The crop walk's on the beach.
You have a great run. It's sort of like the mini beach run is what it will be.
Yeah,
like.
The only part that, you got to get across A1A over to the beach, and you're going 2.5 miles down the beach.
So is the pastor going to be saying prayers and parting the pavement so they get across?
Actually, I'm sure Daytona Beach Shores Police Department will have that well covered for him.
Okay, so we have the art festival going on. There's a lot of things going on. Next week is the Greek Festival, November 7th. There's actually the Terry Lemeron presentation, November 7th. November 4th is Dr. Fawn's presentation. Then all through the weekend next week, there's going to be a lot of things going on in the area, all in the area of downtown on the beach side by the Greek Festival. So people need to mark their calendars. It starts next Thursday at 11 o'clock, the Greek Festival. It'll run through Sunday, and of course Sunday night is my big night that I'm in the Dancing with the Stars.
Wow. We're
And,
doing what? Dancing with who?
Yeah, there you go. Me and Annie are gonna be dancing. So it's a TNA show. So hey, listen, we've been working pretty hard. She's a nice slave driver. I saw Eva Garcia. I know Eva's been working really hard. And last week we had a couple of the people that are in that competition with me were on the show with me, and hopefully next week I'll be able to get more of them on the show. And they're doing, all the people that are in are doing such a great job raising money. It's such a worthy cause. I want to put my plea out there because I think I'm like out of 8 people, I think I'm in 7th place fundraising. It's you go to dbss.org, Daytona Beach Symphony Society.org, dbss.org, and you go there. And you click on my picture or my name, and you can actually either make a $10 donation or you can buy a ticket that will help my voting. Because let's face it, Terry, with all those beautiful women in it and these guys that are sort of semi-retired and have a lot of time to practice and do this, there's the one guy that's from the from Brown and Brown. He and I are working out there, and the rest of the guys, they're sort of semi-retired, having a good time and practicing with their good-looking dancing instructors, and here we are. We're out trying to bring home the bacon. So the only chance we got of winning is the fundraising. So I hope that people will go and make a donation to the Daytona Beach Symphony Society. It is to promote their youth symphony program that is open to the Volusia County schools.
Can you cross-promote while you're at the Greek Festival? Maybe we can have Tasso doing pirouettes while he's making Yida.
No. Tasso will not be doing.
How about wearing a tutu during the Greek Festival?
Tasso will not even be drinking that much at the Greek Festival. I'm so concerned about this performance on Sunday night.
Don't lie. That much. What's that much?
Yeah. Well, we may not break the 47 bottle record, but
you'll break that Saturday night.
No, we won't.
You got all day Sunday to recover.
So anyway, the last thing, and then you got to get your butt out of here because you caused too much trouble in your is Seabreeze Mainland tonight.
This is big.
Okay, stop with the this is big stuff. You sound like like the car says. Just talk about the football game.
I'm excited about this game. Can you tell?
Yeah, you are. You're excited.
And I don't have a horse in this race. I didn't go to Seabreeze. I didn't go to Mainland. I'm just excited because it's going to be a really good football game.
Well, every year it comes out to be a great game. Even if the teams are not equally matched. The history on this game is that Mainland always has the majority of the Division I athletes. Seabreeze comes in with a great scheme, plays inspired football. I think this year you probably have, although I think the athleticism is still on the side of Mainland, you probably have the closest matchup in athleticism that you've ever had between Seabreeze and Mainland.
I agree with you there. I think that size-wise, maybe Mainland might have a little more size.
Especially in the offensive and defensive line. They're bigger.
On the line. But Seabreeze has proven that size doesn't matter. They've gone up against size all season long and showed them what they can do. And if they just do their assignment, don't worry about how the size of the person across from you. Do what you're supposed to do, and they've stuck with that. And it's amazing what the teams they've played and how well they've played them. If you think even New Smyrna, look at Seabreeze beat New Smyrna just hands down, and Mainland barely beat New Smyrna. So that puts it in perspective right there. That if you really have the inspiration, if you really want, you can get. And I believe that Seabreeze is going to show that tonight. I think it's going to be a really close game.
Well, I think Seabreeze has the motivation from psychological for the first meeting. My concern where you're going to really see it is going to be because it really looks like they line up the face-off in the second week of the playoffs.
3 weeks from now.
Yeah, so that's if I were Coach Beach, I would be concerned about that aspect of it. I think it is a no-brainer how to motivate your team tonight. But, when people get revenge, it's sort of like in the weight loss industry. When a person hits certain milestones, 25 pounds, 50 pounds, 75 pounds.
30 pounds, right here.
They have a natural fall off. They have a natural retrogression that they go through. It's psychological. It's very difficult because, it's hard to keep that. The Seabreeze kids are going to be fired up because they want to show Trey that he made the wrong choice going over to Mainland this year. In his mind, he made the right choice from they're going to go out there and they're going to lay some leather on them. And I think that is the only edge I see that's a significant edge in this game is that to a man, every guy that played on Seabreeze's roster last year will be motivated to win this game. Trey Rodriguez, out of the relationships he's developed with his teammates, can motivate some of them, but they're sort of like, you really care if Trey gets the win? Nah. Yeah, so that we just want to win. So I think that's the inspired part of it.
Important things to remember about tonight's game. Number one, Seabreeze is the home team. Okay, so if you're coming out to the game, remember Seabreeze is going to be on the side of the field that's closest to 92, and Mainland's going to be closer to the LPGA. So remember that, trying to get in and out of there. Traffic will be an issue. Kickoff is at 7:30. Mainland, like you say, this is important for a lot of reasons. It's district championship game. It's also home field advantage for the playoffs. I think that's important. I think that comes down to, they're going to be back playing here, but if Mainland wins, they'll be on the home side in 3 weeks. If Seabreeze wins, they get the home side in 3 weeks. And I think that makes a difference, even, where you're used to being and that home field, even if it's just across the field, from somebody who's been on both sides, it feels more comfortable on that home field side.
Well, it's more like what you're used to.
Right.
It's like sort of you feel out of place. And, you can ask Rocky Yoakum about this. Rocky, with his great Spruce Creek teams that he had, beat a very good Mainland team coached by John Moranto, and then 2 weeks later came back and lost to him. And really that year, Rocky probably had a better team. I mean, that team was filled with B. Brian Hill and the two Justice boys. They had some athletes on that team that all played Division I. So that's a big thing. So have you made a prediction?
I do not make. If you ever notice, as I said, I don't have a horse in this race.
Okay.
I'm not picking sides. I'm actually down on the sidelines. I'm going to even swap sides. I'm going to start on the home field side. I'll switch over second quarter to Mainland side. Third quarter, I'll probably take whoever is leading third quarter. And fourth quarter, I'm going to go the opposite side. I'm going to interview both coaches at halftime, and I'll interview both coaches when this game is over. And I'm just excited to see competitive football at a level that is so important to both these teams. And
both teams only lost one game, right? Each.
Yeah. And also this rivalry, I keep hearing it's one of the oldest in the state of Florida. So this goes back, I don't know how long.
Yeah. So, well, listen, it's going to be a great game. I'm, my heart leans with Seabreeze. I think they have the motivation to do it in the first game. My only reluctance is I hate the opportunity of the rematch.
Well, and both coaches,
Mainland's is such a great team.
Both coaches feel the same way, that if you win the first game, that is a disadvantage to you in the second game. It's hard to beat a team twice.
What do you think if they were to make a deal and just go like, okay, dude, we're not going to play week 3. We're just going to go all out, play this one, and then the only reason you have to play week 3 is if one of us lose in week, the first week of the playoffs, kind of deal. So, anyway. I appreciate it very much, Terry. Good luck with the broadcast. Hope people will be out there for it and come out and support the game.
6:05, we got pregame show. We will have both coaches, interviews with both coaches before the game. Rocky Yoakum, John Phillips, Kevin Holtz up in the booth, Terry Sabiston on the sidelines. Game time, kickoff is 7:30 due to Bright House tonight. Watch it on TV, listen on the radio, but really you should be at this game. This is the game of the season.
It's fun to be there.
Thanks, Tasso.
All right, so Dave, I had an interesting experience this week.
You did.
And here comes with some of how we are misled in the world of fitness. I had a very nice lady. We closed up on Saturday afternoon, and I was there doing some work. And, of course, when I work, I usually leave the door open because people come and go that are on the staff and things of that nature.
Right.
So I had a lady walk in, and she said, I have a pass to come here, and I just want to check out your facility. I said, well, we're closed, but I'm happy to walk you through the club. She goes, well, do you have exercise classes? I said, no, we don't have exercise classes because, quite frankly, it's not part of our philosophy. We have a philosophy of that really attacks weight loss and getting stronger and getting fitter, and we want to do it in a very time-efficient manner. And I explained to her that we used to have group exercise, but we don't have it at this point. We do have a Zumba class that goes because of the Dancing with the Stars charity event that we're involved in. And so she says, and at that point, very discouraging for me because it's a very common occurrence when people ask about the club. They said, well, I'm not interested in them because you don't have classes. Okay. And I said, part of you wants to go, well, this is why you are expressing frustration in getting in shape. Okay. Because there is a natural fear, especially the female population, that they do not want to strength train, and they think strength training should be something that's very easy and doesn't challenge them because they want to have fun with their workout kind of deal. And so I said, let me get to the root of this a little bit. And so I went to someone who is really, when it comes to females and educating females in regards to exercise, you can't find anybody better than Miriam Nelson, who has these strong women. And she calls the byline for her strong woman books, and that is lifting women to better health. Okay, and she tries to acknowledge to people how fit you can be through strength training as the core. Now listen, we're not saying don't do group exercise. We're not saying don't do Pilates. We're not saying don't do yoga. But back to the synergy that you just heard about with John from the Halifax Hospital, talking about exercise and what the Y wants to accomplish. And when you talk about our formula, they're very similar. They are attention to your lean body tissue, building your muscle. There is moderate aerobic exercise, which we approach through a very non-conventional way that is what we've now termed as our burst training. Okay, and then good eating habits and how you view those eating. And there's 100 ways. The challenge, another challenge that women run into especially, and men do it, but women a little bit more, is that you get on a good eating program. You have success on that eating program. And the moment you begin to not have success on that eating program, you see your friend that lost 5 pounds that week, and you ask her, how did you lose 5 pounds in a week? And she goes, I did the cabbage soup diet. So now you leave those good eating principles you were doing, and you move to something that is more like a gimmick kind of deal. So this is the challenge that we have, and we really do a disservice in the weight loss industry as a whole, because they bring you into a thing that decreases your calories, which, number one, disrupts your metabolism. The main challenge, if women really sat and they said, what do I want? Why do I want to exercise? What they want to look good. They want to feel good. The essence of that is, what kind of energy will you have? What kind of vitality will you have? And so I put together 4 things that I think are very important for women to understand about why strength training is a strong foundational component of any cardiovascular, any weight loss program. And if you have questions about this, you want to challenge any of this, you just have a question because you run into challenges, 239-0033 is the number here. We have about 12 minutes before we have to.
7 minutes.
7 minutes, okay. So I have 4 things you need to know about metabolic rate. Number 1, the variability in your resting metabolic rate. And that's the number of calories required to support normal bodily functions. This is the number of calories you expend every day when you aren't physically exercising. You're just being active and doing your normal things. Okay, this is attributed to the amount of lean body tissue that you have. And that lean body tissue is affected by chronological aging, by menopause, is due to wasting away, or what we call atrophy of the muscle. If you strength train and regain or retain your muscle tissue, your metabolic rate is restored and maintained. So many women make the comment, I used to be able to go on a diet and lose 3, 4, 5 pounds to get to where I wanted, and it was so easy. And that term we so often hear is the yo-yo diet. I yo-yo diet here and there, okay? So this is the root cause of it, is we lose lean body tissue as we age, or we don't have as much hormone as females. I don't say we, I say hormones, they don't have as much testosterone. So that's also why they shouldn't fear strength training, because they're not going to get the big bulky muscles. The second thing is cardiorespiratory exercise does not increase your metabolic rate, as is commonly assumed. In fact, metabolic rate decreases for a few hours after a bout of cardiovascular exercise. When you go there, you're only burning your calories while you're on that treadmill or on that bike or in that class. And so when we look at the aspect of cardiorespiratory exercise as a part of our component at Bodez Personalized Fitness, is why we're using this burst training, because it simulates a lot of what goes on in the strength training aspect, and it raises that basal metabolic rate that we have. Strength training has a positive acute effect on metabolic rate. When you strength train, this is number 3, your metabolic rate is elevated between 7 and 11% for the next 3 days. This effect exists for beginners or seasoned athletes.
I had no clue it was that long.
Yeah, and this is recent research. We've gotten better at our research. And, this is because exercise, we've been sold the idea that aerobic exercise is the way to control weight loss, because it burns fat as its source. It does burn fat, but the thing about it is it doesn't create a deficit. Perfect example. Person gets on a treadmill, they walk 60 minutes, look at the people walking in the neighborhoods. I've always said, they're walking in the neighborhoods, you see them walking, they're diligent, they do it, they're walking around that neighborhood, but their bodies never change. Why does it never change? In fact, you see them getting fatter. Why? Because they don't have the ability to add progression to their routine. They don't have the ability to challenge the body, to change and to upgrade its physiology. So what happens is, if you look at a lot of those people that walking is their own activity, you see that they still have high cholesterol and high triglycerides. Why? Because they're getting in the mode of walking, they're getting the heart rate up, they're getting the increase in blood sugar, and they're supplying that blood sugar in a very effective manner, because that's what the genetics of our body does, the evolution of our body does. So what happens is they got these high levels of blood sugar after they walk, okay? So then what occurs? They go home and they eat after they walk, because, I exercise, I can eat. So they raise their blood sugar higher. Now, they haven't created a significant enough deficit at the muscular level that the body's depleted its muscle glycogen, which is blood sugar stored in the muscle cells. So now insulin picks up the blood sugar, takes it to the muscle cell and says, hey, muscle cell, I've got blood sugar so you can replenish your muscle glycogen. Well, two things are affecting the cell, as we've learned. Inflammation, which we'll hear about from Dr. Fahn, and we'll hear about from Terry Lemeron. Inflammation has affected the ability to respond at the receptor sites and accept it. So we have insulin sensitivity now where we won't take it in. So, and the reason we don't is because the cell says, hey, listen, I don't need that blood sugar. I got plenty of muscle glycogen. So what's the insulin do? It takes the blood sugar that was just been stimulated by your activity as well as your eating, takes it back into the blood system. And what's it do now? It creates more insulin. It doesn't create glucagon, which helps you burn the sugar and burn your fat stores. It creates more insulin because now it says, insulin needs to change its role. It has to change its role to store this blood sugar. How does it store the blood sugar? It grabs a glycerol molecule. It puts the sugar on it, and it's a triglyceride. All of you that have high triglycerides, this is how you get them. You get that sugar level. Now we become insulin dominant, and we don't have a great metabolism for burning the fat. In fact, we begin to waste muscle weight because we haven't stimulated it. So strength training has a positive chronic effect on metabolic rate. When we add muscle tissue to any part of our body, we burn more calories constantly to support that new muscle. Again, we've gone back, and the numbers differ from anywhere from 25 calories per pound to 50 calories per pound that we're going to burn at rest. So that being said, this is an argument to all the women that think aerobic exercise is all they need. They think that Pilates is all they need. They think that yoga is all they need. It is a great complement, but in and of itself, it does not complete the fitness. It has great things. If you want to change your body, one of the best things you can do is add a strength training session that is very serious, very stimulated, and very intense. And you have to build to that intensity. The intensity you'll have today will be much different than the intensity you have a year from now. So you want to progressively bring. So the November special at Bodez Personalized Fitness will be this. When you sign up and you pay your $199 enrollment fee at Bodez, you are going to receive 6 one-on-one sessions plus your 3 sessions of orientation with our body coach program. But you're going to sit down and have an evaluation. We're going to get the numbers on your body, right. What it looks like, the body map that we have. We're going to put a game plan together for you, and we're going to put that game plan in effect with 9 appointments by appointment with a trainer. The first 6 are going to be in one-on-one, and the next 3 are going to be in our body coach room. So that, I think, will be a great promotion. I think it is an opportunity for people to see. They'll have no dues till January, so it's a great way to make it through the holidays, have some accountability, have some focus, and have a great game plan. So I hope that you will do that. Right. Now, next we're going to bring in Terry Lemeron, who is the founder of Terry Naturally, and also will be appearing. I want to give people a quick reminder before we go to this interview that on November the 4th, from 2 to 3:30, Dr. Fahn is out at DSC 615-1203. The phone number for Bodez, 6464. Now let's go to our interview.
Welcome to Fitness Friday, and today I have a special guest, Terry Lemeron, founder and CEO of Terry Naturally. Terry, welcome to the show, and I appreciate you. I know you have a hectic and busy schedule. You're off to Europe and all over the world now doing lectures, and you're going to be here in Ormond Beach very soon. Thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your background before we get into your actual topic in that, Terry.
Well, it's a very long history, so I don't want to bore everybody, but I've been doing this for about the last 45 years. I've been lecturing on health and nutrition. I've been manufacturing nutritional products. I've been in retail. I've been in manufacturing. I've been in distribution. And I've enjoyed what I've done, and it's been a blessing to me and blessing to others that I've come in contact with. It's changed my life. Many years ago, I was very unhealthy. I grew up in a very dysfunctional family. My father was an alcoholic, very abusive. I was grossly overweight. I'm 5'7", and I weighed over 250 pounds. I had very severe hypoglycemia, very severe depression. Somebody gave me some very sound advice years ago, and they said, Terry, if you keep it up, you're going to end up in jail, so I would advise you to get into the military and see if you can develop some discipline and, get that belligerent, obnoxious, and angry self out of you. And so I did. I joined the Marine Corps, and luckily a captain in the Marine Corps took a liking to me and got me interested in weightlifting and bodybuilding, and he took me to my very first health food store in Oceanside, California, and I was just absolutely blown away. And of course, it put me in good shape. I lost a lot of weight. I worked out all my life. I felt fantastic. 50 years later, I'm doing more than I did when I was younger. I travel all over the world. I work extensively. I work out all the time, and I can chase younger people half my age around the world, and I just feel fantastic. There are some people that are 80 that they can do things like they're 40, and people that are 40 they act like they're 80, and it all comes down to lifestyle choices and what we eat and what we take in terms of supplements. So life can be whatever you choose.
Well, Terry, probably people that have been around health food stores probably are familiar, and I think this is probably your most famous product at this point, is your curcumin. Tell us a little bit about why you developed that product.
Well, curcumin is a very interesting plant. I was off for about 7 years I sold all my businesses in 2000, and I thought I was going to retire. And I got absolutely bored with it. I wanted to get back into the business. I love the people. I love what I do. I have a passion for discovering new products and coming out with things that are very revolutionary and natural medicines. And I did a lot of research, and I came across curcumin, and about 5,000 studies later, which is very unusual for a natural plant to be examined that sufficiently. And it's one of the most unbelievable plants I've ever come across, and I've developed over 400 nutritional products in my lifetime. And curcumin is a very interesting plant. In India, they call it the all-in-one solution. And it really truly is, even under scientific studies. It affects every pathway in the body, and all those pathways at multiple levels, all simultaneously. And so it's an anti-inflammatory, it's an antioxidant, it's improved liver function, it improves the immune system. It's the most powerful antioxidant. It's a very, very powerful plant in terms of helping to improve the likeliness of type 2 diabetes, depression, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, Alzheimer's disease. They're using it at MD Anderson Hospital and Baylor University in the treatment of cancer and prevention of cancer. And both institutions have said it's the most powerful substance they've ever tested in the laboratory. And it's just an amazing substance, and I think you're going to see this as one of the most powerful natural medicines of the future.
Terry, let's take a step back, because one of the things I've said to people that I think a lot of people maybe question or sort of look at you with the cockeyed is, I said, listen, every lifestyle disease that we're experiencing in this country right now, at the root of it has inflammation as its source. It starts with inflammation. It starts with the immune system being weakened. But let's talk a little bit about that. Tell people your experience about inflammation as an issue for today's diseases.
Well, today, our diseases, which I don't really call diseases because I don't think they are in the true sense of the word as disease, I think they're disorders. I think they're disorders brought about by our lifestyle, by the food that we eat. And the food that we eat, the American diet, is 70% carbohydrates because they scared the hell out of everybody because they thought fats were bad for us. Fats are not bad for us. Fats are healthy for us. Bad fats are bad for us. Good fats are very, very healthy, and we can't live without them. But because they scared everybody about fats, everybody jumped on the carbohydrates. And so the American diet is a diet of carboholics. And all these carboholics are refined and processed. And refined and processed carbohydrates, sugar, and vegetable oils cause inflammation, cause cancer, cause heart disease, and cause all the inflammatory diseases such as diabetes, such as obesity, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, Alzheimer's disease. All the itises that we can mention are inflammatory conditions, and 80 to 90% of all of these conditions are caused by the bottom line of inflammation and oxidative stress. And the more inflammation that we have, the more oxidative stress that we have, the quicker we age prematurely, and people are dying earlier than ever because the obituaries, 50, 60 years old, that people are dying from a variety of different cancers. 100 years ago, cancer occurred in 1 out of 25 people. Now it's 1 out of 3, and they feel that by the year 2050, it'll be 1 out of everyone. Everyone will have cancer because it's the American diet that causes all of our disorders, and they're treating them with drugs, which in turn causes cancer. So we have to get rid of inflammation. It's not high cholesterol that causes heart disease. It's inflammation of the heart, inflammation of the arteries that causes all the damage, and cholesterol goes there as a healing agent, as a Band-Aid to improve the inflammatory conditions that occur in the arteries caused by sugar and by fats, vegetable fats. We never ate vegetable fats until 60, 70 years ago. All of these new modern, what we call foods, are causing all of our inflammatory conditions, and that's what causes all of our so-called diseases or disorders.
Well, your presentation that you make here, and for people that have not heard, you will be here at Love Whole Foods. It's a sponsor of you. They'll have you in there. Actually, it's a tent event in their parking lot. It's going to be on the November the 7th at 7 p.m. at the Love Whole Foods on 275 Williamson Boulevard. You do have to call Love Whole Foods to reserve a spot because it is limited. 677-5236 or 767-6543. Terry, your presentation that night is going to be Got Pain. Inflammation is the cause of 80 to 90% of all disease and pain. So let's talk about the pain cycle as well, and talk about some of the things you've been discovering and new products you've been bringing out on the heels of curcumin.
Well, here curcumin is a very powerful anti-inflammatory and a prevention of oxidative stress. It's a very, very powerful. We talk about blueberries being a 6,000 ORAC value, meaning how much inflammation and oxidative stress you can downgrade. Cranberries are 9,000, acai berries maybe 20,000, mangosteen 20, 30,000. Curcumin is 1.5 million ORAC value, very powerful. In India, they consume this every day, every meal, and they've been doing it for 5,000 years. It's a food. They don't even have a word in their vocabulary for Alzheimer's disease. If they perform an citizen, they find that the brain is actually stained orange. And they also have 90% less breast cancer, 90% less prostate cancer. All of these conditions are caused by inflammation. And we're going to teach people how to get rid of inflammation. And when you get rid of inflammation, you get rid of pain. You're going to lose weight. You're going to get rid of type 2 diabetes. You're going to get rid of heart disease. You're going to get rid of about 17 different kinds of cancer. All of them are based on inflammation. And it's easy, I shouldn't say easy, let's say it's simple to get rid of inflammation. You just have to apply the techniques and apply the right type of foods and supplements. Get rid of the foods that cause inflammation. Change your life. You live a healthy, happy, vibrant life.
Well, I talk a great deal with people about the disease continuum and how we start out and our lifestyle moves us down this continuum where we end up and we go to physicians, Terry. And the physicians, they are great guys that are doing great work, but the unfortunate thing about it is their industry has been hijacked by the pharmaceuticals. And they've now turned, they have to see so many patients that they really get into having to use the pharmaceutical type of drugs. And there really are a lot of natural remedies out there that you're going to talk about. But the one thing I really want to discuss is you mentioned about heart attack not being caused by fat. And a study that I read by UCLA's medical school studied 137,500 heart attacks in 541 hospitals. In those cases, only 50% of the people had high cholesterol. The other 50% had normal cholesterol. And in those cases, 80% of those people were taking statin drugs. And in 100% of those cases, CRP, which is an indicator of systemic inflammation, was elevated for all those people. Let's talk a little bit more about the remedies that you'll bring, specifically some specific actions that you're talking, any products that I know you've got the company Terry Naturally is your company now, I think is the name of it. Tell us a little bit about some of the products you'll feature that night.
Well, if anybody wants to get rid of pain, I will help them get rid of pain, and not in a year or two, but in a few days to a few weeks. They can get rid of any kind of pain that they have, whether it be migraine headaches, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, or whatever kind of pain that they may have. They can get rid of that pain very easily and very simply with a few little techniques that we'll teach them that night. Also show that I agree with you 100% on statin drugs. It's one of my biggest passions because it's the biggest medical scam in history. Statin drugs hurt more people than they help. 63% of people that have a heart attack have low cholesterol. People with high cholesterol will live longer, healthier, and have greater sex life. Cholesterol. It's amazing what the drug companies are doing to people today. 100 million people are going to be on statin drugs, and that's their biggest goal, is to get everybody on statin drugs because it's the biggest money-maker backbone for the companies, the drug companies. They just two of them, Crestor and Lipitor, make $32 billion a year, and they don't even prevent heart attacks or strokes. They don't do anything healthy-wise for individuals but cause side effects. They'll cause arthritis. They'll cause loss of memory. They'll cause
wasting of the
acute
muscle.
amnesia.
Right.
Pardon?
They call it wasting of the muscle. It deteriorates
Yes,
the
absolutely.
tendons of the joint.
Muscle wasting, muscle weakness, loss of muscle strength. In fact, here's another one big one. It'll increase breast cancer risk in women by 15 times, 1,500%. We'll share all this with individuals, how to get healthier in a very short period of time.
And again, we're talking with Terry Lemeron. He's the founder and CEO of Terry Naturally, the company that produces curcumin. He is going to be here on November the 7th at Love Whole Foods in Ormond Beach, located at 275 Williamson Boulevard. Phone number to reserve your spot is 677-5236 or 767-6543. I was told by Leslie Patterson, who's an associate of yours, she said to ask you about BCM95 and how you found it and what makes it so most bioavailable. What is
when
that
product? When I got really involved with curcumin, I contacted the scientists. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a chemist. I'm not a technical guy. I do research 8 to 10 hours a day. I've done this for all my life, and I've discovered a lot of things. I got a college education by doing my own research. And I eventually contacted a number of scientists in India who have done the research. I've contacted people at MD Anderson Hospital, Baylor University, and I'm not an answer. I'm not afraid to ask the question. And eventually I went over to India and I started working with people over there. And BCM95 is a very unusual and unique form of curcumin because in the laboratory at MD Anderson and Baylor, they said it's the most powerful substance, even beyond drugs, even medicines, synthetics, whatever you want to try to test. And they found it as the most powerful substance for anti-inflammatory and good health and cancer prevention and cancer treatment. And they can lower cancer drugs and they can prevent cancer toxicity. And but the problem is in the laboratory, this is easy to get results. But in the body, you've got to go through multiple steps: digestion, assimilation, penetration, absorption. All these kind of things go on in the body. And so you need a product that can be absorbed easily, and curcumin generally cannot be easily absorbed. They found a way to do it because they watched the culture of India. What do they do after 5,000 years of eating this type of food? They found that they boil it in fat, buffalo milk, and so they mix it with essential oil from turmeric. It increases absorption by a factor of 10 times. It penetrates the cellular level, and they get high blood 12 hours at a time. So it's very easily absorbed at very high levels in the bloodstream, a better blood retention levels, and so they're getting results. And it's the most clinically studied curcumin in the world. There's 13 clinical studies on it. 8 of them are human studies and 5 are animal studies. It's an amazing product. It's in fact, the latest study just came out on depression. It was equally as effective as Prozac, but no side effects. I mean, it's an amazing product that people should learn about. And if they come to listen to my lecture, I'll show them how this product can make some amazing results in their life.
Now, is this product currently available at say, Love Whole Foods, or is it?
It's currently available at Love's Whole Foods.
Okay, so it's a new release of this product then.
Not really, not a new release. It's been out in the United States.
Has it? So that product, just so we're clear with people.
Well, the curcumin product is curcumin BCM 95.
Okay. I wanted to be clear. About that. Now you have varying strengths of your curcumin. I take the extra strength one because I have an awful lot of history of arthritis and stuff, and try and keep that inflammation down and keep that joint pain out. And a lot of my clients that I work with, Terry, I have them on it because they have that same arthritis, and they want to go through daily life a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more about how it works as an anti-inflammatory and how it helps get rid of the pain in that.
Well, it works on every pathway that's involved, the enzyme systems that are involved with inflammation. The two primary ones are COX-2 and 5-LUX. COX-2, actually, if it's overexpressed, you're producing an excessive quantity of prostaglandins. That causes inflammation. If the 5-LUX, which produces leukotrienes, if you have an overexpression of those, then you have a very high level of leukotrienes and you've got inflammation. So drugs kill those enzyme systems. They inhibit them to such a degree that they stop working, and you can't live without the COX-2 enzyme. You can't live without the 5-LUX enzyme. And they tried to do that years ago when they came out with Vioxx. Vioxx was a drug, the end of arthritis. It was going to be the best pain-killing product in the world, and it was. But because it killed the COX-2 enzyme entirely, then they had blood clots and strokes and heart attacks and deaths. And in fact, the deaths were too great for the FDA to ignore, so they took Vioxx off the market. Curcumin and another substance called boswellia, which is a tree from India that works on the 5-LUX enzyme, when you get a combination of those two, you don't kill the enzyme. You don't poison the enzyme. You actually downgrade it, and you balance those enzymes. That's what nature is all about, is balance. And when you do that, you get tremendous benefits and no side effects. You don't the side effects associated with drugs, the people that have to stop taking them because they get side effects. And in fact, it actually makes drugs more effective and less toxic to the body. So you can use it with drugs. You can use it with blood thinners. It doesn't cause blood thinning. It doesn't cause any liver damage, stomach damage, or kidney damage. Very, very safe to use. And you find the dosage that's right for you, and you stay on that dosage. And eventually, when you get better, you can just reduce the dosage.
And so when you're on, and just a reminder again, just so we drill home the point so we can fill up the seminar, Thursday, November the 7th at 7 p.m. at Love Whole Foods on 275 Williamson Boulevard. It'll be a 10th event that Mitch and his staff are putting on. Seating is limited, so they need you to RSVP. The numbers are 677-5236 or 767-6543. Again, the numbers are 677-5236 or 767-6543. And you'll be reserving your spot to hear Terry Lemeron speak in person. And he will be going through ways to use natural supplements to relieve pain and reverse disease. Correct, Terry?
That's correct. We can all get healthy. There are no hopeless cases. There are only hopeless people.
Now let me ask you something. Our life can't be consumed only with, and you and I are supplement nuts. We love taking supplements. A lot of people don't do that. They say, well, just give me one supplement that'll help me. And obviously, the one you're talking about is your curcumin product to a large degree. But what are some of the food choices they can change or make better that's going to improve their life? The big thing I think now we all hear a lot about gluten and things of this nature, and we know from that's a product of the wheat we're eating today is not really the wheat our parents or grandparents ate. So tell us a little bit about the food choices you'll talk about with people, the small changes they can make that you'll go more in depth to at this presentation.
Start eating a better quality of protein, a better quality of fat, both animal fat, and go back to what our grandparents and grandparents ate, the good old natural raw cream. If you can't get raw cream, then use cream, butter, eggs, lard, animal proteins and fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and all the good foods. I would eliminate grains entirely if you can do it. If you can't do it, then eliminate all the grains that have gluten. I would eliminate, wheat and rye and barley. I would include, if you want grains, brown rice, amaranth, buckwheat, and millet. I would be very careful about quinoa because they just discovered quinoa contains a form of gluten that they didn't know it contained before. I would eliminate all refined carbohydrates. I would eliminate sugar and all sugar-laden foods. I would eliminate all soft drinks. I would start eating a diet that is more what I would call the paleo diet or the caveman diet. People can get healthy. We can do it, but sometimes people just don't want to take the time to do it or the discipline to do it. But everybody can be healthier than they ever thought possible. And I've seen people make some choices, and then I don't care if they're 50, 60, 70, or 80 years old, they can become very, very vibrant and healthy again just by making some changes. And just a few supplements, and I'll tell you about those few supplements when you come to the lecture. You don't have to spend millions of dollars or exceed your budget. Just a few little choices, and you can make some big differences in your life.
You know, one of the most frustrating things for me is when people tell me that, boy, I'm too old to work out, or I've got this little nook and cranny pain here that every time I start to work out, it bothers me. But the reality is with a little bit of patience and a good focus, we can get through these pain patterns. We can get through. It is going to, you know, it's an uphill battle at first, isn't it, Terry?
It is. I mean, we just have to start very slowly. Watch out how much pain you get. Don't exceed too much of a pain threshold. I don't care if you start off or a 2-pounder of weight. I think you need some weight-bearing exercises. I'm not a big proponent for jogging or running or marathons. I think they're more stressful and do more damage. If you look at the body of a marathon runner, they're not looking very healthy. But if you look at a track star, short burst exercising. And if anybody wants to know more about me, they can go to my website called TerryTalksNutrition.com. They'll learn a lot of information about my diet, my exercise program, what I eat, how I live, and my newsletter, my radio show. They can look at all the things that I do in order to make a better life for everyone. We can start very gradually and work up into doing more things. You have to take step by step. You don't eat an elephant in one bite, just one bite at a time.
Right, it's a cinch by the inch is what we say around here, and that's another
great.
thing. You know, where people are getting into these things where they really are just they're so consumed with getting the results immediately. They want that fast food kind of mentality when it comes to their health and fitness. They're looking for that miracle drug, and the reality is they've got to take this on a slow progression, don't they? They've got to sort of go make their decision, stick with it, and then not get consumed by all the misinformation that's out there that we see so much of.
Yes, you know, people take years and years to destroy their body, and they expect miracles in a week. You know, if they gave as much time back to rebuilding their body, you know, just give 10 or 20% of that time back to building the body that they use to destroy the body. They're going to make tremendous results. And don't be impatient. Take your time. Every day, do something different. You know, take the stairs instead of the escalator. Park your car a couple blocks away and walk. There's little things we can do to make our bodies healthier and our life better. And it doesn't have to be, you know, some people go out and the first time they work out for 3 hours. Oh, that's too much. I'm not going to do this. You don't. 6 minutes of workout 3 times a week can do more for these people that don't do anything than working out for 2 or 3 hours at a time.
And you know, it's like you're taking a page out of my book. It's like you've listened to our radio shows. We're so on the same tune with what we're talking about. We use a philosophy when people come in and set in their level, and we're sort of the anti-gym, you know, kind of deal, Terry, because we don't believe you need to spend hours in the gym. We don't believe you need to be on a treadmill for 40 and 50 minutes. We believe that what we need to do is strength train on anywhere from 3 to 6 exercises or total body compound movements. Work those exercises as intensely as you can, increase that intensity as you adapt, and then a 6 to 10 minute ride where we monitor your heart rate and we utilize burst training to bring that sympathetic, parasympathetic response in that causes the body to heal itself. Then the most important thing is the rest and the nutrition and the restorative efforts that you do from that sample. It would be the answer to all these people who are killing themselves for weight loss, killing themselves to get the perfect body. It is about the health of their system. And I've used the analogy you used of comparing the marathon runner to the sprinter. Who do you want to look like? The sprinter looks, you know, vibrant, ready to go, muscular, can do things, and you know, the poor marathon runner looks drawn. But we've been sold 2 bill of goods in this country that I think that you would agree with me on. Number one is we've been sold on a bill of good that aerobic exercise is how you lose fat. And then the other one I think we have been sold on is we have villainized fat. We see on the counters of our grocery stores that Greek yogurt that was the hit of the year several years ago to people and it was healthy in this, and what have they done? You can't find full fat Greek yogurt anymore. All you can find is 0% fat. It drives me nuts when I go in there. Fortunately, I'm blessed enough to have a little Greek lady from our community that makes me Greek yogurt in exchange for workouts.
Oh, fantastic. Lucky you.
Yeah. So
that's great.
But this is the thing, and I think that's something that people need to become more and more aware of, is that sometimes the science, on the little flyer, again, we're talking with Terry Lemeron, who will be here November 7th at Love Whole Foods. They will be at the Ormond Beach location, 275 Williamson Boulevard. Phone number to reserve your spot is 677-5236. That's 677-5236 or 767-6543. And the thing about it is everything we're talking about that you and I are talking about, and you'll back it up with any question I ask to you, is science-driven and performance delivered. The end speaks for itself in what we do. Isn't that correct?
Right. You mentioned about marathons and you mentioned about aerobic exercise. You burn fat, but equally burning muscle at the same time. It's amazing that hospitals put on all the marathons, and they're in the business of sickness.
Right.
Combination.
Yeah, I never thought about it like that. You're absolutely right. So, well, Terry, I really appreciated you joining us today. In parting, what would be some of the things that you would want to, like maybe a couple things just to encourage people, the final thing, to come see you at Mitch's event that he's having for Love Whole Foods? What would be one of the things that you say, listen, here's the 3 takeaways that you're going to get when you leave that night. You're going to know that you can take command of your health and fitness.
Well, if you come to the lecture, you're going to find out that there are no hopeless cases, that you can make some big changes in your life. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You can do it very easily with a few little changes in your supplementation. Change of diet is huge because that is the foundation of your health. Supplements mean they're a supplement to something else with a good foundation diet. You can't eat junk foods. You can't eat garbage and take supplements. And it's like putting fertilizer on concrete. It's not going to do anything. And you got to have some good basic for that, and that's food, because food is our medicine, medicine is our food, and you need to make those changes. People don't realize that the food they put into the body is fuel. You wouldn't put sugar and sand in your gas tank of your car because you know you're going to destroy your engine. We are destroying our engine every day by what we put into our body that we think is food, but it's not. I mean, pizza has now become the #1 dinner food in America. It's garbage, and all these foods and processed meats with nitrates and nitrites increases cancers of all different kinds, particularly pancreatic cancer by 67%. We've got to make some changes in this life in America so that we can leave something for our children that they know that they can eat better. Our kids are not going to be eating well in the next future because they're being raised on soft drinks and sugar and garbage. And think of it, you're designing your family's health, and we got to make some changes, and let's do it together.
Well, and I hope that you get an opportunity that night at your event. And again, that event is on November the 7th. It's going to be at Love Whole Foods. It's a 10 event. You can call and reserve your spot for the Love Whole Foods in Ormond Beach, 275 Williamson Boulevard. You can go by in person, or either one of their locations you can go by, or you can call 677-5236. That's 677-5236. And I really hope that, because you got on the food part, I hope that night you get to entertain some questions about GMO foods, because I think it's the next big thing on the horizon that we really have to be concerned about. You mentioned about gluten being a concern, and even more of, what's the word I want? An even worse version of gluten that they've found now. But the gluten is the only one of those proteins that come out of those wheat products that is bad for us. It's the one that's most well known right now. But the reality is diseases like celiac and all that type of stuff, we could avoid with good nutrition. I have a feeling that if they come to this seminar, they're going to walk away with a lot of ideas to get rid of those things like Crohn's disease and celiac and all these things. We hear so many horrible things about it, and the doctors look at us and go like, boy, you've got a real tough road to hoe, and you're going to have to take these meds. Well, there's other alternatives there for those people who don't want to do that.
Yeah, in fact, every disease that's known to man, there is a better alternative than a drug, and it won't leave you with side effects that you have to take another drug for to treat.
Right. Well, Terry, again, I look forward to meeting you in person. Unfortunately, I will be at the Greek Festival that night working, so I probably will not get to meet you in person. But I appreciate your products. I appreciate the knowledge you'll be bringing to the area. I hope you have a full, sold-out house that night.
Well, thank you very much, and I wish we could meet someday, but enjoy your festival.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
WNDB, Daytona Beach, first in local news. Fox News updates at the top of every hour. Online at newsdaytonabeach.com.